Welcome to Season 2 of Coffee with the Journalist. I'm Jared Martin, the co-founder and Chief Operations Officer at OnePitch. Our host for the show is Beck Bamberger, the co-founder of OnePitch, CEO of BAM Communications, and a current journalist. In each episode, Beck sits down one-on-one with the tech industry's most well-known journalists to uncover the ins and outs of their journalism background, their beat and news coverage, what their inbox looks like, and a ton more. On today's episode, we have Alex Wilhelm, former editor-in-chief of Crunchbase News, and now a senior tech editor at TechCrunch. Let's dive into the conversation and hear more from Alex and Beck on today's episode.
Today on the show, guys, we have Alex Wilhelm.
There you go.
We got it. The editor-in-chief at Crunchbase News right now. Many of you are quite familiar with him. He has a huge Twitter following, has quite a lot of great comments that are on the internet on a continuous basis, and you basically cover money and where startups intersect.
That is that's the main goal. So I love the middle ground between finance and tech, and that kind of puts you right where startups do finance, and it's kind of the venture capital, private equity, exit M&A kind of world. Anything in there is my favorite place to be.
Which is why I mentioned that photo that's on your Twitter homepage, which can you tell people what that is? Because some people might look at that not knowing why is there a negative profit or whatever that is in some clear form of some place, some company.
Yeah, so the header image on my Twitter account is, and I want to fact check myself now that I'm saying this on recording, but I'm 90% sure that it is a screenshot from one of Box's original S1 filings. And back then, people were very surprised at how much money Box was losing because people weren't as aware of how SaaS companies function and how they invest for the long term. And so I was highlighting some of their, operating losses or whatever it was. And Twitter rolls out this new feature, so I just plunked that image up there and said, whatever. And that was a long time ago now, I think.
Yeah, it was. 7 days. Yeah, something like that.
It's not recent, to be clear.
But still, I love it. It's just brutal because you get to see like, wow, clearly there's a lot of money that's been lost. Well, why don't you give us quick 1 minute or so synopsis on the life of Alex thus far to this point? You've been to a lot of different outlets in TechCrunch, and now you're here at Crunchbase. But could you give us a synopsis in a nutshell of the life of you?
Yeah. So I was born in Oregon, which worked out pretty well. We had a lot of trees. Went to school in Chicago. Then I moved to Cali, where I was pretty familiar with the area. I joined the Next Web, my first professional writing job, my second year of college, right around the time I started. Kept that through the end of school into my first year out in the Bay Area. Then I joined TC. Then I went to a company called Mattermark to try to build out a news team there. That didn't go wildly well. And then Crunchbase wanted me to do the same thing. So I went over there and started Crunchbase News. I joined the company in January of 2017, and we launched the first news article on the news site. It was like maybe March 13th or something, so right around there. And then I've been doing that ever since.
And you mentioned there that you actually got, while in college, the job at the Next Web?
Yeah, but it's not impressive because
I was like, damn.
Well, the Next Web at the time was like two people working part-time in Europe, and they hired me because I was inexpensive and willing to work a lot. And, so I was the first U.S. correspondent, but also there was like three of us, and I don't think any of us was full-time at the time. So it wasn't this burgeoning publication. I was there at the not the genesis per se, but early on.
Still, you put that on your resume. That's good. I know people are always, so we get questions on just, well, how do you get that first internship? How do you get the job? And people are surprised by they got hired from the internship or how they even got like their uncle to introduce them to something. So,
well, I can help. So
yes.
I founded a company with some friends the summer after my first year of college. And we actually got TechCrunch to cover our pre-launch, our birth, and then our death like 2 months later because the project didn't go well. Those articles are still online if you want to look them up. But I was bored living on my friend's couch because I didn't have anything to do and I didn't have any money. So I started to write online on just alexwilhelm.com. And I met some friends on the internet that were also on Twitter and writing about tech. And so we formed a little group blog called TechGeist, which thank God is no longer on the internet because it was terrible. But that was the initial platform that I got hired off of. So we built our own tech blog and ran our own ads and had our own site. And then from there, I got my first job.
And they found you? Or did you apply to them?
I forget, actually. That's lost in the mist of history. Maybe a little bit of both. I think at the time it was the blogging world was very different. That was back when GigaOM was part of a network of sites, and VentureBeat was much larger, and TC was still kind of coming up and all that. And so it was a different world. Blogging was a much bigger profession than it is today. It's become much more systematized and professional than it used to be, and that's why I kind of managed to go in there and make tons of mistakes and get away with it because it was part of the mix.
New terrain. What made you fall in love with the finance aspect of looking at, for example, these S1 filings and these detailed term sheets and things that you otherwise might not be too excited by?
Well, I'm the coolest kid in the world, which is why in middle school I was reading the Wall Street Journal in print.
I read the Wall Street Journal every day in print too. Do you still read it every day?
I don't read it in print anymore. I did it in at our house in Providence, get the Times in print for a while, but I just found that I'd already read the entire paper by the time I got it, because I read it online as it comes out.
Exactly. So I have to not look online in order to enjoy and savor when it is in print. That's that I have to do.
My compromise is that I read The Economist whenever I'm flying. I just read the whole thing, and that's my.
That's meaty. That's
print,
hard.
Well, print is good because it makes you read outside your box, right?
Yes.
And that's, I forget where the question was before you took that.
Just how you got down the path of finance and what you loved about it.
Yeah. So I was obsessed with finance from a really early age. I ordered a bunch of S1 filings. Sorry, not S1 filings, 10Qs, quarterly reports from companies when I was a kid. I just read them all.
What?
Yeah, I was cool. Like I told you, I was the coolest.
Well, obviously.
Well, if you got the journal back then.
So would you say like, hey mom, I need to mail order my...
It's worse than that. I didn't ask. And
you just did it.
There was this like little pamphlet you got in the journal or Business Week or something, and you could like check little boxes and they would send you reports. So I just checked the all box for all the industries. And we drove home down my parents' driveway one day, and there was like 6 huge boxes on the front porch, and it was all just full of filings. So I just read those, and I just loved it. I love seeing the raw data behind all the stuff that everyone talks about. Though at the time I couldn't convey it to you in that form. I just found it interesting. And then later on, I discovered tech and the world of startups, and that to me was everything I'd read about business, but much faster, which made it more interesting. And
what was the first tech company you became aware of, or fell in love with, let's say?
Well, I read a book by a man named Philip Kaplan, who goes by the name of Pud. He ran... Can we swear on this show?
Yes. It's a podcast. It's not regulated.
Well, it's a respect thing, He ran fuckedcompany.com in the first .com boom, and he wrote a book about the worst tech startups from the first .com boom. And so I read that, and that's when I was like, oh my gosh, there's this other world of business that is insane. I must go be part of it.
Yeah.
So I tried, and it worked out.
Fantastic. Wow. Is that still alive? Is that still around?
I don't think so. Pud now is mostly a heavy metal drummer. And we've almost met up several times, I think, over the years, but haven't pulled it off, which is too bad because he's one of my internet heroes. Although that book hasn't aged as well. Some of the jokes don't. I reread it last year, I think, and not all the jokes were jokes that I would like now repeat. But when I was like 14, I thought it was the funniest thing,
When you were the smartest, coolest kid. Yeah. The coolest.
I was so popular in middle school. Everyone was like, Alex, give me stock tips. That's what everyone wanted. No, I was not cool at all. I was the least cool person in a 10-mile radius.
Well, now you're the coolest with an editor-in-chief, so I bet people calling you now.
They mostly email and ask for things. But
yeah, okay. Well, we're going to get into that in a moment on just what is in your inbox. But first, we are about understanding how stories actually get made, actually get reported on, because I think that's a big black box as it comes to just from a consumer understanding all the intricacies, all the details, all the fact checking and so forth that it really takes. So can you walk us through a recent story and give us kind of a play-by-play of, okay, I had this idea, I went to this, I had to then do that, and now this is how it came about. We can use one of the first ones, or one in particular, but is there a way you go about telling a story?
Well, I'm cooking something up right now, so why don't I tell you about that?
Perfect. Tell us about that.
By the time you hear this, it'll be out, because it's going to go out tomorrow. Okay, so one relatively fertile place to look for ideas is in lots and lots of raw data. And I get sent reports from banks and investor groups and, activist investors and all sorts of people. And I love these because they provide really interesting looks into the world as it is. And these don't tend to be particularly biased because they're just big chunks of data that has been sliced and graphed in different ways. And I'm going to try to get this right. KeyBank put together its 10th annual SaaS report. And it's looking at the 2018 SaaS market through the lens of, I think it's 242 different companies that are broken up by size and how they approach the market, and they've cut their data and growth in a lot of different ways. And what the report gave me is really just a limpid look into what is going on in the world of SaaS, which is one of the most important parts of tech, one of the most important parts of venture capital, and one of the most important parts of the IPO market. So what I did was I read it, and then I emailed them with a couple questions because I wasn't sure about two of the metrics. I wanted to understand what was behind them, got the answers. And then I reread the report, and I'm now currently comparing what I've read and written and understood about the market against that, and trying to figure out what are the most important anecdotes and data points that will help explain the world as it is to people who read what I write. And so what comes out of that's going to be a hybrid of what I already knew and what I learned. And then it's my job to, back to your point about stories and how they come together, is to craft those into something that's readable and that people actually want to spend time with, because it's not hard to just write 8 facts in a linear fashion, but to put something together that people will want to engage with and are able to actually finish reading. That's where you get to have a little bit more fun and not be an artist per se, but to be more of a craftsman than just a builder.
Do you think of that lens always first in terms of what does my reader want? What is helpful to them?
No, not always. Okay. Sometimes you want to do things that are reader service. You want to make sure that when people generally read your stuff, they walk away better informed, or at least just better educated about something, because you're conveying information. Like, fundamentally, journalism is finding out what's true and telling other people. That's most basic substance. But sometimes, though, you gotta write something for yourself. And you just you don't care if it gets 12 reads, because you need to get that out of your head or it's not going to go out. I've written entire articles that I wrote just so that my head would shut up, and then we just killed them. I'm like, read this, we're not going to publish it. And we'd read it and we go, that was great, kill.
Huh.
Yeah. So
how often does that happen?
Infrequently. I have I'm very #blessed in that I've always had a lot of free reign in what I write. Which means that I can get in a lot more trouble, but also means that I can go much further afield than I could if I worked for, like, The Economist, for example, or like the Financial Times, which is a great publication, but I don't think they'd want to hire me. I don't think I would be a great fit.
And is that because you got a lot of ideas and you want to put a lot out there?
Well, I mean,
they're pretty constrained.
They'd want to tell me what to do, and I would be like, well, no, and then I'd get hired.
No.
So, I mean,
yeah,
I don't think it would work.
Next part, we're going to play a little bit of a word association. This is a new segment that we're doing. We're going to see how it goes. So you're a tester.
I will happily be your guinea pig.
Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to give you a word. You give me the first word that comes out that you associate it with.
I hope this word's
let's
like
keep
profane.
It clean. Yeah. Let's keep it clean. If you wish. All right, first one, food.
Biscuit.
Biscuit.
Which is British for cookie. You said first thing. I've been watching British television. This is what you get.
Okay. Drink.
Coca-Cola. Interestingly enough.
Hobby.
Sleeping. Wow, that's weird. I don't sleep enough. I am tired today.
Maybe you need to get that hobby going. This is why this is interesting. Okay. Can you see this? Wait, can you see my sheet? Okay. We gotta keep it hidden. Okay.
I promise I'm not cheating on the word association.
Okay. Funding.
I just have a generic eye roll at that. Probably something like venture capital or, like, I don't know, investing.
Okay.
Nothing really big pops up.
Okay. WeWork.
Fucked.
Unicorn.
Dead.
Startup. Boring. Equity.
Lots, please.
Founder.
Neat.
VCs.
Best.
Yes, yeah. That's a good one. IPO.
Optimistic.
Earnings.
Incredibly interesting.
Journalism.
Dying.
Pitch.
Pass.
Inbox.
No. That's my honest opinion.
That completes our word association phrase. Wow, biscuit, sleeping. Those were my favorite.
I mean, you can tell that up top I didn't know what we were doing, because they got better as we went along.
I did a little bit, but I think those are more interesting. No, I like it. Okay, now I want to talk about just what is actually in your inbox.
Yeah.
What does it actually look like? You think about it. You've seen it many times today.
I've seen it many times today, yeah.
What's going on in there? Because publicists are trying to get in there and trying to get a response. Mm-hmm. Is it all publicists? Is it hundreds of emails, thousands?
So I'm going to just be honest. And
that's what we want?
We're going to see how people like this. So I have priority inbox turned on in Gmail. I have a work account that runs on Google Apps. Mm-hmm. Everyone does in Silicon Valley. Mm-hmm. And I have my inbox set to only show me emails that Gmail deems important, and I never read anything else, and I read about 10% of the ones that are marked as important. I'm very hard to get a hold of.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do we even get you on this podcast?
Polite persistence.
Wow.
Also, I like Jared.
Damn, Jared. He's so
Nice guy.
great. He is nice. You guys know him. Okay, so to understand that, then only the stuff that gets filtered by Google that is a priority, and then even in the priority, only 10% of that.
I probably, maybe it's like 20%, but I mostly just go through and mark most of them, and then I just archive them without reading them.
That must keep a pretty clean inbox.
It is. It's pretty efficient. I mean, I mostly have my own ideas. The things that stick out are interesting, funny rounds that I either want my team to cover or that I want to take a look at, bits of data that I can't find elsewhere, invitations from people that I know. But, you know, there are 10 bajillion things to cover each day if you want to, and you're going to cover 2. So are you going to spend your time doing endless sifting, or are you going to find the most efficient way to take your understanding of the world and add bits to it and explain those to the readers? So you have to be ruthlessly prioritizing, I guess. Otherwise, you'll get nothing done. You know, if you read all of your emails and respond to them, you'll get stuck in these endless do loops with very kind people who are doing their job efficiently, and I have no beef with that. But
are you talking about publicists particularly?
Publicists or people like researchers or people who want to contribute guest posts or just all sorts of people that if you have any sort of platform in any sort of area in the world, there are more people who want it than who have it. And so you're going to have people that respectfully want some of your time or attention or help or, you know, work. And that's perfectly acceptable. If I was on the other side of the coin, I would do the exact same thing. So I have no beef, but also I have a team to run and I'm on podcasts and I got stuff to do. So I have to be, you know, as efficient a human as I can be. I'm a good capitalist cog.
There you go. Damn, capitalist cog.
But I mean, there are better ways to get a hold of me, like Twitter. Twitter DMs are great. I only follow so many people. That's actually not a very good outlet. Don't text me.
Who would text you? You'd have to have your number.
I think it's out there.
Wait. Do people text you pitches?
Not frequently anymore. That seems to have died down in the last couple of years. When I was at TC, I got more of that. But people are just trying to break through the noise. They're trying to do their job. They're under a lot of... Here's my impression about this, about the publicist world and the PR world in this area. A lot of like more junior PR people aren't given the best of guidance when they go into PR. They're given like a pitch and a list of people and they're told to go out and make magic happen. And so you end up with a lot of junior PR people out there in the trenches being a little annoying, but not through their own fault, but through a lack of leadership, it seems, and a lack of proper training. And there's, you know, lots more publicists than there are journalists, as we all know. And so, you know, again, no beef, just I just have to defend my time, and I have lots of my own ideas that I want to write about, and I have my own ways of tracking data and like what's going on in the world, and so I don't need people usually telling me what's happening. I should already know to some degree.
What % of your stories comes from pitches versus your own head, your own ideas, your own raw data that you crunch and then do something with?
Well, going back to the story that I just mentioned, so KeyBank just sent me a report. It's like, here's a report, check it out, and they just went away. Would you say that's a pitch? Because it's somewhere in the middle, right?
It is somewhere in the middle. They didn't ask like, oh, could you review it? Could you check it out? Could you anything? It was just seriously, here's the report.
And then the embargo is tomorrow at 9 a.m. Off you go.
Oh, okay. I would say that's a pitch then, because there's an embargo or there's an exclusive. There's something there.
When it comes to things that I write off of reports that were embargoed, it's nigh 100% because I can't like break into those servers and steal it.
Yeah.
But a lot of what I do is based on kind of my own news gathering, and then I'll try to weave things in sometimes from pitches if there's an interesting round that I care about, and that sort of thing. But not a huge percentage. If I could write 5 times as much, it would be a higher percentage. But you know, you can only put so many words out each day.
Is there any round of funding that still piques your interest?
Some automatically matter. If Airbnb raises another $1 billion, everyone's going to cover it because it's one of the 5 companies essentially you have to write about, right?
Yeah.
So that's putting those aside. It's very hard for a $12 million Series A or a $24 million Series B or a $36 million Series C, et cetera, to stand out because no one shares things. You get an investor list, a dollar amount, and a couple of canned quotes, and then that's kind of the standard package that goes out. Companies that I write more about tend to share more. Like they'll tell me about their blended gross margins. That's fantastic. That tells me about the health of your business and why I should care and will you go public. Companies who share revenue growth numbers are more interesting than those who don't. Companies who share hard revenue numbers are the most interesting. But everyone says, well, I'm private, I don't have to share that. And I'm like, cool, I don't have to write about you. But the more information you share, the more I might care.
Okay, the more information you share, the more you could care.
And I've been beating that drum. I ran an experiment.
Yeah,
actually.
Tell us.
I was writing. I have a little morning column that I do each day. It kind of keeps me sane. And I was like, startups, send me your ARR growth from 2018. And some of them did, and we published them. It was fun. Yeah, that was cool. So they got free publicity, and I got what I wanted. So everyone kind of won. But it's like
maybe
four
you could
people.
train the behavior.
I tried to, but it would be a lot of be a lot of dog treats to make that one work.
Yeah. Okay, but note to the wise: more info you share, more likelihood.
And also, if you're just fundamentally interesting, like
Yeah.
like one thing that people don't get is that if reporters use your product day in and day out, you're going to get written about more. Like TikTok, that coverage is driven by the fact that like everyone's on TikTok now. I'm not, because I think the Chinese government is authoritarian and bad, that app is censored, and so I'm not in favor of it. But all my friends are on it, and I think every reporter that I know watches TikToks. So,
damn. How about books you're loving right now?
Do you want business books or
anything you
books?
Anything you got?
Okay, so
fiction, nonfiction, even podcasts. What do you got?
So I'm currently reading Beloved by Toni Morrison. I'm finishing a book called The Horus Heresy. That is not a good book, but is a fun book that a friend recommended. I'm reading a collection of Philip Larkin, actually that my wife borrowed, now I think about it. I'm reading the Federalist Papers with my dad as part of our father-son book club, because I'm a huge nerd.
Wait, you have a father-son book club?
Yeah, but we don't live in the same time zone most of the time, so it's how we stay in touch every week. Yeah, I come from a pretty nerdy family.
I love it.
And,
but how does father-son book club work? You call up and you're like, hey, Dad, did you read that chapter? I read it. What do you think?
Well, we assign a section of X number of pages. Depends on what we're reading and how dense it is. And then we do a call and take about an hour. And we both have underlined and taken notes. And we compare notes. And then we pick a next section and do it again.
I love that. Because then it gives a nice frame of a conversation that's productive and interesting and not just mindless and annoying.
You get
probably.
more out of it. We read On Liberty by John Stuart Mill. We read Democracy in America by Tocqueville. And now we're doing the Federalist Papers. And then we're going to read Rousseau next.
I love this.
Yeah. And then, check this out, in my sibling book club.
Wait, there's a sibling book club. Yeah, different books.
Different books. We just finished Exhalation by Ted Chiang, which is a collection of short stories, which is very good. If you saw the movie The Story of Your Life? No. I'm going to butcher this. It doesn't matter. We read another short story collection by him before. And then finally, with them, I'm about to start reading The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead. Yeah, that's the constellation of books I'm currently working on.
And is sibling book club as frequent as father-son book club?
No, way less frequent. We read about 2 books a year with that group.
Slower group.
Well, all my siblings have children.
And
so they're very busy with their kids, whom are all fantastic. But it's much harder to get 4 of us together than just my dad and I. So, books are good.
Do you also mandate, like, who marshal? Are you in charge of book clubs? Do you mandate, like, hey, 3:00 Thursdays, like, that's our time?
It takes a multi-captain approach or you won't get anywhere. So my older sister Emily and my brother Andrew and myself kind of share the scepter to keep that one going. But it can die for 3 months when we're all busy and then kind of come back to life.
Who selects the books?
We do a little group chat when we finished the current book, and we talk about either a book one of us just started, making it a good book to pick up, or we go through, like, who won the Man Booker Prize in 2014? Let's read that. So we've read a number of real clunkers over the years.
Oh, damn. Yeah.
Anyways.
But then that's fun to talk about, because sometimes the worst ones or like the bad ones are like, oh, God.
Yeah, but sometimes they just go on and on and on.
That's true. Yeah. That's true.
But I love reading. It's I don't think you can be a good writer. Bringing this back to the actual topic, I don't think you can be maybe someone can. I can't. I need to read a lot, or my writing gets stale, repetitive. I don't have new words, and I'm just not nearly as good. So I think it's kind of it's like exercise if you're in sports. So it's not like I don't want points for reading books. I have to, or I'll suck at my job.
Mm-hmm. I haven't heard someone use the analogy of that, like training as like a professional athlete.
Well, I think
to reading as a way to get better at writing.
I don't want to compare myself to professional athletes.
No, I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's a great analogy that you're the first to bring to the table. So that's cool. Nice. What do you think about the future of journalism? You had a word associated with journalism that was, what was it, dead? I think your word was dead.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's not how I describe it. That's my first word response.
That's the first word response.
I am cautiously optimistic about the survival of all the pubs that you can name, and I'm mostly pessimistic about the survival of any pub that you can't. I think there's going to be a paywall elite, if you will. It's going to be relatively robust. It's going to, even some medium-tier pubs are going to make it in, but I think local journalism is probably kaput, and nothing hyperlocal has ever managed to stick for long enough to make a real dent. So I think we're going to see huge waves of corruption and so forth at the local government level, state government level, that are unnecessary, but we never find a way to fund it. So it's optimistic about one half and pessimistic about the other half.
If someone's listening to this and who aspires to have your job one day or be in journalism, what would you say to them?
If you have to do it, please do it. It's the best thing in the world. It's much better than having a real job. I've had those. They're terrible. But if you're wishy-washy about it, go get a law degree. Do something else. Because it's not going to be worth your time. But I got paid to write today. And that's the biggest blessing I can possibly imagine.
Damn, we should just end right there. But we have a Mad Lib section.
Oh, that's right.
That's right. Okay.
This is a
so
part
let's make
podcast
sure.
and part game show, I feel.
It is a little bit. Well, we're changing things up, and you can talk to Jared about this on his feedback on
Well, Jared's going to talk to us about his feedback.
That's right.
Hi, Jared.
That's right. Hi, Jared. We're here having a great time. Okay, so let's make sure we do this right. So this is going to be a little bit of like a couple minute segment. You're going to fill this out. I'm going to then read it out loud. So I'm going to type your responses, and then I will read what is actually, yes.
So you'll tell me what the thing I need to fill in.
Yes, exactly. Okay, we're piloting this live. Let's see. Okay, so first thing is a catchphrase. What is a catchphrase? Oh, just
did I do that from Steve Urkel?
Yeah. Or what did the twins on that Full House show say? Like, what's up, dude, or something?
I grew up pretty religious. We didn't really have a lot of TV.
Shit.
This is going to struggle with me.
Maybe a tech catchphrase. Like, what's a tech?
All right, fine. One more thing from Apple.
One more thing. That's from Apple?
It's how Apple ends their keynotes. They would always have and one more thing, and then they give you some super neat final thing.
Dorky. Okay.
I mean, it's me, so
yeah. There you go. Okay. Now, this is more advanced. A journalism scare phrase. Jared, what does this even mean? Okay, it says journo scare phrase.
So I'm presuming it's a phrase that makes journos scared.
Probably.
I got one for you.
Yeah, what's that?
When you turn in a draft and your editor says, it's a good first try.
Ooh, okay.
Because you thought you were done, and
then you're not.
You're not. So that's a journal scare phrase, if I'm understanding what
Yes. But it's a good first try. Yeah, that's never fun. Okay. Next one. Okay, now it gets easier. Empowering PR journalism buzzword.
Empowering PR dash journalism buzzword?
/ PR or journalism buzzword.
I mean, I want to be sarcastic and say synergy.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
I read a lot of Dilbert growing up, so I learned about that word.
Oh, that's great. Okay. Ooh, this is going to be good. Adjective.
What's an adjective? I get these mixed up.
This is describing a noun.
So like fast?
Yes,
Bright?
Or blue. Like the blue shirt. The fast
I'll go with
rabbit.
Dripping.
Dripping. Ooh. Okay. Ooh, interesting. Next phrase. Part of a pitch.
I should learn what an adjective is. Now that
That's all right. So yeah.
I think I missed that day at elementary school when they described nouns.
That's all right.
Adjectives.
That's all right.
What was the next one?
Next one is a phrase that is part of a pitch. I guess like the opening or...
I'll go with kicker.
Ooh, kicker. Okay.
Everyone loves a good kicker.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Then adjective.
Bombastic.
Ooh.
Someone's going to write in, those aren't adjectives. I'm going to be like, all right. They're
No,
past participle, flipper.
Oh, God. No, we're not going to do that. Okay.
This is why
And
we
then...
copy editors, people.
Yes. Then, another phrase, another part of a pitch.
Sure. Another part of the pitch.
Yeah.
I'll go with, I get a lot of pitches about funding rounds, so I'll say investor quote.
Investor quote. This is going to be so good. Good job, Jared, making us do this. Okay, this is good. An amount of time.
A fortnight.
Okay, I like that. Writing it down. Adjective.
Man, there's a lot of these.
I know it's...
Minute.
Okay. Singular noun.
Bucket.
Topic.
I don't want to say something boring, like current events, but fine, current events.
All right, current events. Yeah, that works. Okay. And then a verb. Two verbs. Something with ing on it, and then a verb.
So racing.
Okay, racing. Yes.
And then I want to say crashing. I watched Formula One this weekend, so it's on my mind.
Okay. All right. Okay, are you ready? We're going to read it.
Let's
see. Let's see.
Super curious.
Oh, God. Okay. All right, here it goes. To me, tech journalism is one more thing. It consists of when you turn in a draft, but then you hear the feedback that it's a good first try, and synergy on the daily. If a pitch has a dripping kicker, I will absolutely respond to it. However, if a pitch has a bombastic investor quote, you can expect no reply from me. If a fortnight goes by and you don't see an email back from me, you can just assume I am not minutely about it. The best stories always have buckets and are usually about current events. The best way to reach me is by racing to me, but you can also crash me. That was fun. I like that.
That
was exciting.
Not mind that. I haven't been on since I was a kid in a car, so
I love it.
That's
I think we got to keep it. I think we got to keep the ad libs. This is fun.
Whoever's in charge of editing this
Mad Libs,
can enjoy how long that took us.
Yeah, that we might have to extend that segment. That was a little bit. Well, thank you so much for being on today. This has been so great. Do you have any parting words for your publicists that are listening right now? Besides crashing into you.
No, I mean, hi, what's up? I would say shoot me an email, but it's not a very good idea. So
no, we covered that.
Send me a tweet. I try to be as available as I can be for stuff like this, but I'm just one dude, and I'm not particularly smart. So it's been fun having me on. I appreciate this, and I'm glad people are trying to do more bridge the divide sort of stuff between the two different worlds.
Yeah, no crashing.
No crashing, no buckets.
I like it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Coffee with the Journalist featuring Alex Wilhelm from TechCrunch. The goal of this show is to learn more about the tech industry's most well-known and coveted journalists. We hope you found today's episode insightful. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to our show on iTunes, Spotify, and everywhere else you enjoy listening to podcasts. We'll see you next week with an all-new guest and even more insights. Until then, let's quit bitching about pitching and start great stories.